Hello guys, gals, and pals. Today we're going to be working on a really nice and chill workout that we're just going to need a chair and a foam roller. And it's going to be a very mellow, introductory kind of a thing. It should be fun. Hopefully it'll be fun. I don't know. It might be tedious and boring, but in a useful way. All right. Preamble achieved. We're going to go ahead, geez, I'm a professional. We're going to go ahead and get started standing behind a chair. And all we're going to do is some standing glute squeezes. And standing glute squeezes are exactly what they sound like. We're standing, we're squeezing our glutes. It's pretty easy, honestly. So holding on to the chair just to give yourself a sort of sense of readiness. And we're going to just go ahead and think about squeezing our butt muscles and releasing, and squeezing our butt muscles and releasing. And if you notice as you do this that your back hurts or anything feels twingy, that's okay. You don't have to squeeze super duper hard. So try squeezing maybe a little bit less and seeing if that lets that volume turn down a little bit. And as you do this, I want you to notice if the position of your hips change at all. You could even put your hands on your hips to see what happens. Because I notice that when I squeeze, my pelvis actually tucks under me a little bit. So my hip bones kind of tuck, my tailbone tucks under me, and that puts me in this really nice neutral position where I'm using these muscles and I can use these muscles too. So that's really, really good. And if you're still in the stage where you're figuring it out, you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, that's totally fine. Let's do 3 more. And last one. And release. Very nice. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab our foam roller. And we're going to go ahead and walk over to some blank space of wall. And if you don't have a blank space of wall, you can close a door. Or if you have, go to somewhere else where you can put this foam roller up against the wall. So we're going to go ahead and lean up against it. Foam roller is going to be long ways. And we're going to just go ahead and put our butt and our shoulders up against that roller. If you have a pretty short roller, that's okay. It might be a little tricky to get into this position, but I want you to prioritize putting it underneath your shoulder blades. So don't worry if your hips aren't touching. But if you have a long roller like me, you'll go ahead and get settled here, and then you can walk your feet out away from the wall a little bit, just so you're leaning into the roller and it's not about to fall away from you. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to do some rolls of our shoulders. So this is a drill that I like to use to figure out what the heck our shoulders are doing, so we can actually get them active in a way that feels good. So what we're going to do here is you're going to think about your bone that goes from your elbow to your shoulder. We're going to think about rolling that guy out and rolling it in. I'm literally grabbing my arm and helping it to turn so that I don't just do this at my wrist or twist at my elbow, because it's very, very easy to have all this rotation happen everywhere but at our shoulders. So what you can do is you can go ahead and look straight forward with your hands out in front of you. Shoulders are going to be down away from your ears. And then we're going to go ahead and roll our hands out as far as they'll go, thinking about moving from our shoulder, rolling out until our thumbs face away from each other. Now, from our shoulder, same thing. We're going to roll in. Our hands are going to follow our shoulders until our thumbs are facing to the side or down. And we're just going to do that. So we're basically rolling out and in, nice and slow, nice and chill. And now we're going to go ahead and try this same thing, but now our arms are going to be at our sides. It's a little more confusing because we can't see what our hands are doing, but it's doable. So from here, we're going to think about that, rolling our shoulders back, and our hands and our palms are going to spin open as we do this. You could even think about trying to squeeze this roller with your shoulder blades. And then you're going to go ahead and roll forward. So keeping your back pressed up against the roller, you're going to think about rolling your shoulders away from the roller, and then rolling your shoulders back and squeezing them. And then again, rolling away and rolling back and squeezing. As you do this, keep your jaw relaxed. Try and keep your shoulders down away from your ears, because we want to get our shoulder blade muscles controlling this, not our headache muscles in our neck and where our neck meets our shoulders. So go ahead and do a few more. And if you ever need to stop and take a break, you definitely can. Last one. And release. Ah. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and build on that. We're gonna bend our arms. Hands are just gonna be kind of T-Rexy position up by our shoulders. And we're gonna think about squeezing our elbows back. So using our mid-back muscles to pull our shoulder blades together and pull our elbows towards each other. And then we're gonna release, and then we're gonna squeeze, and we'll release. And you'll keep going like that. Check in with your jaw, try and relax your jaw. And if you're noticing that your neck is kind of getting involved, think about bringing your head back and tucking your chin down just a little bit for a nice long back of your neck. And that can help. Take a big breath. It's easy to hold our breath when we're thinking about a lot of things and trying to do stuff. Keep those squeezes going until you need a break. And then if you need to take a break, you can hop back in or wait for me to catch up with you. Remember that we don't win a prize if we make ourselves suffer more. So don't worry about stopping when you need to. When you stop feeling the muscles working that you want to feel working, in this case, our shoulder blade and mid-back muscles, and if you can't figure out how to get them back in there, that means those muscles are tired, you did enough, and you can stop. But if you're still going with me, we'll do 3 more. And last one. And go ahead and come out of that. All right. This guy can go be elsewhere. We don't need it anymore. We're going to go ahead and get into our chair for our next series of things. For this next part, only thing we're going to need is a long resistance band. So from your client pack, it's just one of those long ones that's not a loop. So we're going to go ahead and start sitting in our chair, and we're going to do a lower body thing first. So you're going to go ahead and take your band, you're going to swing it around your legs above your knees, and then you're going to go ahead and tie this off. Now I do recommend that you do kind of a knot that isn't so tight that you never have a chance in hell of getting it to undo, so that you can keep using your resistance band. But we want to keep this so relatively chill knot. All right, and then if you have a mini loop band where it's just a small continuous loop, you're free to use that as well and just put it here right above your knees. All right, so for this, we're gonna do what's called a seated band abduction. Abduction is just a fancy way of saying our knees are going out. I don't know why it's called that. Fitness, I don't know. So all we're gonna do, we're gonna sit up nice and tall. You can make sure you're not leaning too far back or too far forward. We're just trying to think nice princess posture. And then we're going to think about going back to those glute squeezes that we started with. So you're going to go ahead and squeeze your butt and release, and squeeze your butt and release. And if you notice here, or maybe you might not notice with you, but if you look at me, when I do my squeezes, my knees actually go out, because that's what we're going to be practicing, is the muscles that are in charge of bringing our knees outward and inward. So what we're going to do is build off of that by doing our squeeze. We squeeze our butt. We push our knees out into this band a little bit. We come back to center, nice and controlled. Again, we squeeze. We press our knees out, nice and controlled. We come back in. The band really wants to pull our knees together very fast, so you have to keep this nice and slow. You can have your hands on your hips. I don't care, whatever works. And as this starts to feel better, you might find that you can push your knees out farther and farther. That's great. That's totally fine. When you do that, when your knees start going out more, you can roll to the outside edges of your feet. That's okay. That'll give you a little bit more room to play with. Now, if you're noticing that this is hurting your back or your low back, go back to those squeezes, or you can try leaning back a little bit and supporting yourself with your hands and see if that helps. And if that didn't help, you can try taking a little lean forward. And if you are doing the lean forward, try and keep your chest lifted so you're still sitting up nice and tall. And none of those positions are better or worse. We're just trying to find the ones that make the most sense. Let's do 2 more. Very nice. Next, we're going to go ahead and take this band off. And we can either unknot it or you can just slide it off. I'm going to be using this same band for the next one that I'm demoing. But if you have the heavier of the 2 bands, I want you to get the lighter band. So the lightest band you have. If you don't know how to figure out which band is the heaviest, you take one band, you grab it at a few inches apart, you tug on it, and then you pick up the other band, do the same thing, grab it, same distance apart, tug on it. The one that's easier to tug is the lighter band. So once you have your lighter band, we're going to go ahead and grab it like this. So you're going to just go ahead and grab the band with your palms facing up, your thumbs facing out. You're going to go ahead and bend your elbows. Shoulders are nice and low, and your elbows are in line with your shoulders. Your hands are in line with your elbows. For this one, I like to start with my hands a little bit wider on the band than I think. So go ahead and walk your hands out, especially if they're super close together like this. Walk them out so you have a good amount of distance in between your hands. So we're going to do what's called a bent arm band pull apart. And what this is this is using our shoulder blade muscles to pull our hands away from each other, out and in like this. So how we're going to do that is you're going to think about keeping your shoulder blades low, and then think about those squeezes that we were doing at the wall earlier. We're going to think, squeeze your shoulder blades together a little bit, and then move your hands out. And then we'll come back in and squeeze and move your hands out and come back in. And nice and slow. Just keep this pace. And you might feel like this isn't hard enough. And if that's the case, that's totally fine. Because what we actually want to do is get our shoulder blades working. So we want to feel the muscles working in the center of our back. We don't want to feel our shoulders working in front here. Because if we do, that means that we're using these muscles to control this rotation, and we're not actually strengthening the ones in the back. So if you are noticing that you're getting a ton of activation in the front of your arm and your shoulder cap, go ahead and take your hands a little wider on that band, shoulders down, and then see if that helps. And let's go ahead and do 3 more. And last one. Very good. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and set this band to the side. We'll need it again in a minute, but not right now. So what we're going to be doing is some seated leg extensions, and those are going to be to work the front of our legs, also known as our thighs, also known as your quads if you're fancy. So how we're going to do this, sitting up nice and tall, how we've been doing. You could have your hands on your hips, hands supporting you, hands doing something silly, I don't care. Hands are irrelevant. And all we're going to do is we're going to pick up one leg and hover it just slightly. As we do this, we're going to think about bracing into the front of our belly a little bit, little baby squeeze. And then we're going to extend our legs straight, squeeze, hold, and then come back down. And extend, squeeze, hold, come back down. Keep going like that. And these are kind of shockingly hard. So if you did that for the first time and it felt like it was going to cramp, that's okay. Just take your foot a little bit lower down and then work on lifting up as time goes on. And if you're like, this is super easy, I could do a million, slow down. And as you extend your leg, try and pick your foot up without hiking your hip. It's easy to do that. But think about this muscle marionettes your foot up as high as it can go. I don't care how strong you are, you will get some shaky shakes if you do that. Let's do 3 more. And go ahead and just find the spot that works for you, challenge-wise. Last one, even though I may have miscounted. Perfect. Other side. Go ahead, brace your belly, lift your knee up just a hair, extend your foot. You can keep this low to start with. And then as you start feeling more comfortable, you can lift up a little higher. Or if lifting higher isn't on the table today, that's cool too. That happens. Some days our bodies be like that. When our body says no, let's listen. Because first it whispers, then it shouts. If we listen at the whisper, we get to skip the shout, and that's always nice. Let's do 3 more. And last one. And back to center. All right, very nice. If you want to grab a quick sip of water or anything, please do. Please do. If you're me and you're failing to speak, at least no one's here to witness that, unlike me. So we're going to go ahead and grab our band again. We're going to get set up for those seated band abductions. So either putting your mini loop band on or knotting these guys. And as this gets easier to do, you can make this band heavier, and that will be a nice way to progress that. So sitting up tall, let's just start with a few of those little squeezes to get clued in. You might notice that maybe your muscles are a little more tired than you expected. And if that's the case, you might not be able to do as many of the open and close, and that's fine. We're just going to go and do however many we need to get a good amount of activation here. So we'll squeeze and open when you're ready. Opening, closing. Remember that you can roll to the outside edges of your feet if that's comfortable for you. You can also lean back if that feels a little bit better, or you can lean forward if that works a little bit better too. I feel like I have the world's noisiest chair, so if there's a bunch of background noise, that's what it is. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then hooray. Let's do 5 more. Remember that you can stop whenever you need to. Whenever your muscles have had enough, go ahead and listen to that. Last one. Very nice. Let's go ahead and take this band off. If you're reusing the same band, you can just go ahead and unknot it. You can fight with it for a while if you tied it poorly, like I did. And then we're going to go to our band pull apart. So remember, palms are facing up, thumbs are facing away from each other, hands in line with elbows, which are in line with shoulders, nice and wide with those hands on the band. Shoulder blades are going to move your hands out and in. You might even notice a little stretch feeling in your chest as you do this. That's always fun. Keeping those shoulders down. And if you're feeling your neck or where the muscle of your back meets your neck, go ahead and relax your jaw and take your hands wider on the band. And see if that helps. Let's do 2 more. And then go ahead and let that go. Now we're going to go ahead and do our seated leg extension again. Go ahead, same thing, sitting up nice and tall, hands either on the hips or wherever you'd like. Little brace of your belly. See if you can squeeze your low abdomen. Pick your knee up, swing your leg out, hold, and come back. This one we can cheat by going up, down, super, super fast. So see if you can increase the amount of time that this leg is extended. And if that means that you need to do that with your leg a little lower, your foot a little lower, that's okay. Let's do 2 more. And last one. And then switch, other side. Belly is braced, knee lifts, extend, and bend. And then see what happens on this side. Maybe a little lower with the foot or a little higher. Let's do one more. And release. Hooray and congratulations, you are done. Hurrah. So hopefully this was okay. If you have any questions on anything, please let me know because I'm here to help. And I will talk to you soon.